Welcome to Pet Education with the Connecticut Humane Society. My name is Catherine Schubert, and I am the Marketing and Communications Manager at the Connecticut Humane Society. Since 1881, the Connecticut Humane Society has been the leading resource in the state for companion animal welfare, enriching the lives of families and communities through adoption services, medical care, education, and prevention of cruelty. With 3 locations in Newington, Waterford, and Westport, CHS is independent of any national groups and does not receive ongoing municipal funding. We're excited to bring our pet education program to you as partners in working to find each companion animal a permanent, compassionate home, enrich the special bond between people and animals, and end animal cruelty. Today I'm going to be talking to you about shelter pets and the process of getting a pet ready for adoption at the Connecticut Humane Society. We're going to be discussing the behavioral aspect of making sure a pet is ready for a new home and how to ensure that a pet is on a path to success with their new home. Today we have 2 special guests today to talk with us about this. Becca Meyer is behavior coordinator at the Connecticut Humane Society and works every day with the pets, including dogs, cats, and sometimes small animals. Becca, can you tell us about your role here at the Connecticut Humane Society?
Yeah, so I have been with the Connecticut Humane Society for 10 years now, or just coming up on 10 years. I right now am part of the behavior department. I used to be part of just animal care and adoptions, and today my job basically consists of making sure that the animals like Stark, our real special guest here, get enough of the training and the everyday, needs met for their mental well-being, and training while they're in our care. We also help out with the public as far as offering behavior consultations if they do adopt from us, and helping people that call in and need help with some smaller issues that they just might need a little bit of a tip on, and then most of our day is spent with guys like Stark, who need a little bit extra one-on-one time and a little extra training before they're ready to go home.
That's great. So what would you say is the favorite part of your job?
Probably the favorite part of my job is when I get to work with a dog or a cat or any animal really, and we start to really see a change in whatever their behavior issue is. So whether it's that they're very shy and shut down and they start to be more social, or in his case, like Stark, if he came with a little bit of resource guarding issues. He wasn't very secure about himself. And so he kind of felt like he needed to protect all of his belongings. And you can see now he doesn't have too much of an issue with things like that anymore. But he's still working on it. But seeing him be able to be here is super cool.
For sure. No, that's great. So how many pets a day do you work with, would you say?
It depends on the day. Some days are more heavily, leaning towards animals that take longer to work with. They need a little bit more one-on-one time for them specifically. So I'd say it could be between 5 and 10, depending on how the day goes. Hi. But yeah, it depends on how the day goes. So today, I think he's my second animal that I've spent time with today because we've been kind of running around doing stuff. So it really depends, but it could be upwards of 10 to 15 if everybody's got, an easygoing day going.
Right. Yeah. So how often do pets that come to the Connecticut Humane Society need that extra behavioral support when they come in?
So I'd say it's less than half of the animals need extra support, but everybody gets basic support. So we do have a really good enrichment program that goes for everybody that comes into the building and into the organization. So they get different types of enrichment every day that have to do with each of their 5 senses. So we have volunteers and staff that both, can I help you? That both work on that program. And then we also have the animals that need a little bit extra. They get that enrichment, but then they'll get more one-on-one time. They'll get more specific training for their needs, more socialization, that kind of stuff.
What you doing, buddy?
Come here, bud.
That's great. Yeah. So the average length of stay for pets in 2022 was about 39.6 days. So when those pets come in, they get their medical care and they get behavioral care when they come in too. And then it also takes some time to find the right person for that pet to go home to. So in 2022, we had 395 pets that needed extra behavioral support, and you and the rest of the behavior team definitely stayed busy with those pets,
yes.
Right? So I want to talk a little bit more about Stark right now. So let's go into his details. Who is he? What is he looking for? All of that good stuff.
So Stark, believe it or not, is only 7 months old. He is pretty much the size of a full-grown normal dog, but he happens to be half Rottweiler, half Pit Bull. So he has 2 pretty large breeds on board, and then who knows, there could be more stuff mixed in. So he is up for adoption right now. He is looking for a home that has lots of treats to dole out, but he's also looking for a home that will work on his training in the home and out in public and stuff like that, because as you can see, he's super active and he loves to like explore and do stuff. He's still a puppy, so he's got lots of puppy behavior in there too, but he is super smart and learns really quickly. So he's just looking for a family that is adults only right now while he works on the rest of his manners. He loves dogs and he really likes to play with dogs, so a dog would be great for him. And just somebody that understands the breed that he is, does sometimes come with their own little challenges, but be able to work with those and accommodate him in their life as he grows up and matures and finishes gaining more weight, because he's going to be a big boy.
Yeah, for sure. Very big indeed. So when Stark came to Connecticut Humane Society, he was checked over by our medical team, which is the routine for when pets come in. They are checked and examined and make sure that they are medically cleared for adoption before they go over to your team to make sure that the pet is behaviorally cleared for adoption too. So what does that really look like from the moment that you first meet them to making sure that they get trained in the right way?
So with dogs like Stark, he came in as an owner surrender. So whenever a dog comes in as an appointment for an owner surrender for whatever the need, one of our behavior staff will go up front and meet them first and do like a quick behavior assessment, because not everybody is, the shelter's not the right match for everybody. So some are too shy to come in or just have different behavior quirks that aren't quite the right fit. So we'll be able to kind of like assess that at the door to like guide the families in the right direction. In Stark's case, he was a candidate to come in, and we thought that we could offer him the right amount of support to keep him happy and healthy. So we do their quick assessment and then we take them in. They do see medical pretty quickly. And then with him, he got a formal behavior assessment, and so he's just gonna nap down here.
He's exploring everything.
When they get a formal behavior assessment, that kind of gives us one little piece of the puzzle, and then every day when the staff and the volunteers are interacting with them, they give us little feedback about how they're doing, and that kind of all comes together to give us a bigger picture of whether or not they need extra support. So for example, during his formal evaluation, we noted that he had some guarding behavior, which was he didn't want to share his food. He didn't want to share his toys. Totally understandable for a younger dog, especially with the breed mix that he is genetically. That's something that could just be in there. So we knew right away that it wasn't going to be a good idea to just send him right out the door. He needed a little extra help to just learn that, like, I'm not always here to steal things from you. I bring good things too. And so he did go through some behavior modification and do some training. And then about a month in, and he's up for adoption. So he is ready to go.
That's awesome.
Still needs a little work, but he's okay.
Right. So even though he's still up for adoption, you guys are still working with those pets every day to make sure that they are getting the care they need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, Stark is a funny one. He is up for adoption at the Connecticut Humane Society, and we'll talk a little bit more about what our adoption process looks like in a second. But what I wanted to say is that every pet that comes to the Connecticut Humane Society is unique, and obviously the care that they need is unique as well. So they get training programs that are tailored to their specific needs. We talked a little bit about Stark and how he was into resource guarding, but most people typically think about training dogs as the basic obedience classes, things like learning how to sit and stay and all that, and it doesn't always look like that, because you definitely work with more than just dogs. So there's cats and small animals, and training can look like a lot of different things, because you don't need to train your cat how to sit necessarily. So
you can, though.
You certainly can, especially you and the behavior team. But I want to talk about what the process typically looks like for pets other than dogs. So when a cat comes in, what kinds of behaviors do you see that need to sometimes be adjusted before they're ready to go adopted?
The most common behavior that we see in cats that come in is usually that they're very nervous and fearful. Most cats don't just like go out to the world all the time. Like dogs at least usually will go for walks and things, but not every cat is used to being out in the world. So they leave their house and they come here and they're just kind of, it's shell shock, you know? So they get really nervous. They sometimes will shut down. Sometimes they don't want to eat or they don't want to use their litter box or things like that. And so we kind of just gauge it based on how stressful is the specific area of the building that they're in right now. Where can we put them that's a little bit quieter, like an office or something like that? What can we offer them that came from the knowledge of their owners that is something we know they enjoy. So for example, every animal gets what's called a pet personality profile as long as they're an owner surrender. And that gives us a ton of information about how they are at home. So if that says this cat really likes little crinkly ball toys, then we're going to offer them those and just try to like engage them in the play that they're used to. Or we'll start like a hand feeding program so that they'll start to kind of build a little bit more confidence around humans. With some of the cats, it's just a matter of the fact that we are kind of still, we do have foster homes, but not quite as many as some other rescues do. And sometimes it's just as simple as they need to just get out of the physical building and be in a foster home. And just that home environment brings them such a good feeling of peace that they're ready to be adopted in like a couple days even. For some of the other cats, it's that they get here and they're upset about it. And they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to their neighbors. They don't want to talk to anybody. They're mad. I touched you. I'm so sorry. And for some of those cats, it's just giving them some space, being patient with them while they kind of like learn the lay of the land. And just, again, going back to the basics and like, what are they really interested in? Right. With our small animals, it's a little different because they can obviously be a little bit trickier for like everyday handling. And usually what we'll do is we'll just try to, with those guys, make them our friends with treats is like the biggest thing, and offer them like more space to explore and lots of enrichment so that they start to like learn that we're really cool people. Right,
absolutely. So that's rabbits and guinea pigs and hamsters even that can get that additional support with you guys. Fantastic. So how do you know what type of training is going to work with the animal that you are dealing with?
You really don't. Until you try it. It's all like trial and error. Just like with people, some people are visual learners. Some people like to listen to things. Some people like to learn by doing them, and dogs and cats and everything are all the same. We have kind of like a generic way that like, positive reinforcement training is what we follow. And there's like, an unwritten rule that like to learn how to sit, you do this, or to teach a cat to do this, you do that. And so we try with like the basics, and then if they're picking it up, great, but sometimes they're not. So we tweak it like a little bit.
Got it.
So it's kind of written differently for each animal, but we start at the point that we know and then just kind of go from there and tweak it when we need to.
That's great. And so what are some of the things you see that tell you that that training is working for the pet?
The biggest difference that you'll notice is like, honestly, like the look in their eyes, like they just seem calmer, and like you can tell that like something is like, it's working, like they're a little bit more comfortable with you. Their body is more loose and jello-y. Even with cats, like you can tell when they're super tense and then when they like finally relax. Knowing body language is a really big piece of that because we read their body language to know when they are really stressed and when they're not, and starting to see the little tweaks in those are really cool. Because it does tell you that something is working. So just keep doing it. Throw all the things at it and something will be good.
Awesome. Okay. So at that point, then you can make the decision that the pet is ready for adoption, right? So they're good to go after you've seen that recognition, after you've seen that progression, and then they are listed and usually go home pretty quickly because they're all super adorable and they all need those homes. All right. So behavior support that pets are getting in the shelter can keep more pets in homes down the road. It's good for the new owner to have a pet that already has the basic foundations to go home. It's good for the community because that pet is going to be better off in the community.
Did you see a bug?
He did.
Flycatcher's getting added to your resume, buddy.
He is talented. But it's good for the entire community, for pets that are getting this additional behavior support, because you never know what you're going to experience out in the real world. There's a whole different there's a lot of different triggers and settings that can happen in the real world, and making sure that pets are getting that additional care to make sure that you are noticing those triggers before those pets are going up for adoption is very important at the Connecticut Humane Society. So I think in this part of the episode, we can go a little bit into a training demonstration with Stark. So maybe he can show off some of his skills and how you've kind of taught him to get to those skills.
I'm going to bring out the hot dogs for this piece. Are you excited? He can't even move. He heard the bag. Okay. So Stark already knows quite a few things, and that's because we did have to go through some behavior modification with him. That's rude, mister. Off. Good. Sit. Good. So we use a lot of positive reinforcement training. And so basically that just means that if you do what I ask, then you're going to get a hot dog, or you're going to get praise, or you're going to get something really good. He's a foodie for sure. So he loves his hot dogs and cheese. So a lot of times with positive reinforcement training in dogs and cats, a lot of it is just luring. So like I take the hot dog and I just like bring him to where I want him. And then I have him turn, and then I have my hand go up, and his butt hit the floor. Yeah.
Very nice.
And he just learned how to sit. And then I come down and I go down. Good job, buddy.
Good boy.
And then if we want to do some doggy push-ups, we go sit, down, sit. Oh, lazy boy. Sit. Come on. Yes, good boy.
So good. And on that note too, this is really great for them just to have a little bit of enrichment in their life too,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
It's good for their brain to get this sort of stimulation and think a little bit more than they normally would, just lounging about.
Yes. It's kind of similar to like sending your kid to school for the day, right? And they have a lot of studying to do and they're exhausted and they're like, oh, I've done too much schoolwork. Oh, rude. So he's still a puppy. He's got some things to learn. But it's similar to that. They're learning things, they're paying attention, they're focusing, they're being sassy. Sir, come here. Sit. Good. Wait. Yes. Okay. Good boy.
So good.
So he, it gets them thinking, it gets them to learn some patience, and learning new things and learning appropriate things, which is really good because like you said, like it's easier to have a dog that knows how to sit than a dog that's jumping all over you. With him, you get a little bit of both. Rude.
But like you said, he's still learning. He's a puppy, so he's got a lot of energy he's got to burn
Other
through.
paw. Good job. That wasn't the other paw. The other thing, we did teach him paw specifically because he had some touch sensitivity. He didn't want people touching his feet. So now we've gotten him to the point where he's voluntarily giving people his feet. And so it's a little bit less, no. Sit. Paw.
He's so excited about hot dogs.
He's very excited. Ready? Lie down. Good boy. Have the whole thing. Good job. Thank you for cleaning up. Oh, thank you. So he's offering it now because he knows he gets something good. And instead, I'm not having to argue with him about trimming his nails because he's learning that I'm going to give him something great for getting a cookie or for getting his paw. Yeah. Are we back to cuddles? And now he's ready for cuddles because now he's like, ugh, I did too much.
His brain is tired. But no, that's a really great point you make too, that it helps to curb any negative reaction that you might get from working with your dog. So basic care can sometimes take a little personal space out of the picture, and so it's important for dogs and cats to know that you're not there to bother them, that they're going to get rewarded for the behaviors that you want out of them, and it makes for a really good relationship with you and your dog too.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Like once they finally learn it, you're like, oh, I knew you could do it.
They're so smart. They have so much potential.
So smart. So smart.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you both for being our special guests on today's episode of
Thanks for having us.
Pet Education with Connecticut Humane Society. So this is Stark. He's 7 months old, pit bull and Rottweiler mix. He's available for adoption. And this is Becca, our behavior coordinator. So thank you both.
Can you wave? Say bye. Good job.
There we go.
Good job.
Perfect. Okay, if you have questions about behavior and training tips for your own pets, you can head over to the Connecticut Humane Society website, cthumane.org, to check out all of our pet care resources. From tips on better understanding cat body language to leash reactivity with your dog, you can find it all at cthumane.org. If you're considering adopting a pet with the Connecticut Humane Society, our adoption counselors are here to make a successful match with you and the right pet. You can see all of our currently available pets at cthumane.org/adopt. When you adopt with CHS, your adoption fee includes basic behavioral support after adoption if needed, a temperament evaluation for any pets over 6 months old, and training classes with the Connecticut Humane Society for any puppies under 6 months old, as well as lots of other great benefits. To learn more, visit cthumane.org/adopt. And lastly, we'd like to thank the donors of the Connecticut Humane Society that make saving pets like Stark possible. Without your generosity, none of the life-changing programs here would be possible, including everything the incredible behavior teams are doing to help put pets on the path to success. If you're interested in becoming a donor and giving pets like Stark the love and hope they deserve, please visit cthumane.org/be the change. Thanks for tuning in.